Are you ready to turn your investments into retirement income? Listen in as Jeremy Keil and his guests reveal ways you can make smarter retirement, investment, and tax planning decisions to achieve your ideal retirement. You will learn more about your money so you can feel better about your money and make better money decisions. Now, on to the show.
Welcome to Retirement Revealed. I'm your host, Jeremy Keil, and I'm joined by my producer, Eric Johnson. Eric, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing great. I'm so excited about this topic, and we have some surprises for the audience because Jeremy just absolutely surprised me with some of this information. So it's kind of fun.
You got it. Yeah, we're talking about 60 ways to live longer, stronger, and better. I don't think we can get to all 60 of them, but who doesn't want to live longer, be stronger, and live better? I think that's a good goal.
Yeah, I love that. Yep.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, and what we found actually, this is based on an article we saw in the AARP Bulletin. I was just telling Eric earlier, I am an AARP member, not because I just turned 40, which I did, but because anybody can join the AARP, and it's a great organization with a lot of great information. I figured let's get all this good information, and here they are in the AARP Bulletin. Great article. We're going to link to it. 60 ways to live longer, stronger, and better. But for those of you that are listening in, let's just talk about a few of the different areas, and it'll be just a great conversation. Eric and I are going to kind of figure out, we're going to talk like we're experts. We're not. We're just relaying this great information, but I think we've got some good insights and some good stories related to it.
Yeah, I don't want to gloss over what you just said, though, because this is still knocking my socks off. Anybody of any age can join AARP.
Mm-hmm.
So you told me earlier that these 20-year-olds, early 30-year-olds, one of the ways that they're helping to save themselves money and so on and so forth is they're joining AARP at that age.
Yeah.
and
why not?
using
That's
the discounts
thinking.
and stuff. Heck yeah. That's fantastic.
Yeah, $12 a year roughly, I think is what it is. And you get the discounts on all kinds of good stuff. So it's been fun. Yeah.
All right.
Well, the first area, it's so great. They had 60 different ways and tips, but the first area, they put it into a few different categories. And the first one is brain health. And I imagine that's probably a good thing, especially as we all age, is the brain health. We've been talking by the time this records or gets out there, we've got somebody talking about their journey with Alzheimer's. I've got a friend of mine from Muskego that's doing a fundraiser for the Alzheimer's Association. I mean, brain health is top of mind. We just had somebody call in, and they're younger. They were closer to 30. They were calling in because they are now power of attorney for their dad, who's 60 years old because he's suffering through Alzheimer's. So obviously brain health is a big tip or big concern rather.
Yeah.
And to summarize some of their tips on how do you make sure your brain is doing a little bit healthier, my wife's going to like this. Eat salad, eat berries, drink green tea. Those are three of their top tips. I can agree with that.
Salad, berries, and green tea. Now, I got two of those down pat. The green tea, I've just never been a fan of tea. So that's something I'm going to have to try to maybe get used to because that'll be very beneficial.
Yeah, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
2 out of 3.
I'll tell you, I don't know how many people have heard this before. About 4 years ago, as just part of my own health, I had some acid reflux, stress levels going basically because of caffeine. And you look through it and you realize that alcohol and caffeine are two of the biggest things, coffee specifically, caffeine from coffee specifically, those are the biggest things that contribute to the acid reflux and things like that. I went to the doctor. He said, just double up on your medicine there. I said, what else could you do? He said, well, if you just stop alcohol, stop coffee, then you'll be good to go. So I did, just instantly.
Man,
cold turkey, amazing.
Look at you.
I was telling people this, and everyone, thankfully, they weren't saying, well, how did you get rid of alcohol? That's probably a good sign that people aren't asking that. But they said, how did you get rid of coffee?
Yeah.
And I tell you what the answer was, I slept for 3 days straight. And then about a year later, I thought, I don't mind some caffeine, but I switched to green tea then, and that's been kind of my regular day. So apparently, I was ahead of the curve and was helping my brain out by having green tea the last few years.
And the sleep helps. I mean, doggone it. I mean, so it sounds like I need to schedule myself for some days off so I can sleep because right before this podcast recording, I just finished off my triple espresso latte. It was so good. But now I'm guilty.
Yep. No, I believe it. Yeah, I slept for 3 days straight, ruined the weekend. I said, well, honey, you wanted me to stop drinking coffee, and here you go.
That's right.
Monday morning, I woke up at 5 a.m. with no alarm, just raring to go.
Wow.
It's just, kind of got through the withdrawal of it in 3 days. But if you're not quite there, try if you can switch to green tea. That might be a better way to go for your brain health, especially.
I'll work on it.
Yeah. Speaking of sleep, that's the next area, is sleeping better. That's a tough thing for a lot of people. And some of the tips they gave were very interesting. First tip they gave was make your bed, which just seems odd. Like what does it matter when you make your bed at 7 a.m.? How does that help you out at night? I think a little bit of it. There's a book you might have heard of by an Admiral, a former Admiral. He gave a great commencement speech and then turned it into a book. It's called Make Your Bed. And a couple of his thoughts are, if you don't do the little things right, you're not going to do the big things right. So that's one reason to make your bed in the morning. Another one is that if you start your day with a task completed, like, hey, you won. You woke up and you won in the first 5 minutes. The rest of your day is going to be a little bit better. I think their point, though, is, hey, if you make your bed, when you go into your bed at night, it's kind of nicer. Like, hey, this is a routine. Like, I know that I've got a nice bed set here for me. It's part of maybe the sleep routine. And part of the other areas that they suggested is, do a sound machine, right? Nothing wrong with that. I've been using a sound machine for a couple of years now, and it's just amazing. It's great. Our kids wonder why we don't hear them when they're screaming for us at 2 a.m. And we say, go back to bed.
That's right. That's not the sound machine I want.
That's not the sound machine you want. But thankfully, you get a sound machine.
That's right.
You don't hear some of the little whines that happen from the little ones out there. Yeah.
It's a ritual for us, actually, Jeremy. It's so funny that you bring this up, because my wife and I, we actually do that. She makes sure I do that. I have to make my side of the bed. And it's funny because we have to make our own sides of the bed. Sometimes I help her out with hers, but it's because we have one comforter. So, we have the top sheet and we have one comforter, which I rarely use. I usually kind of just push it off myself. But then she has another blanket on her side. And then she has a weighted blanket, which is 15 pounds. It's crazy heavy, but she's always cold and I'm always the furnace, so. But it's funny because the bed it's almost lopsided with how many blankets she's got on her side. But that's something we do every morning.
Yeah. That's funny you said weighted blanket. That was like the hot thing about 3 or 4 years ago for the kids, is to have a weighted blanket. So of course we got the weighted blankets for the kids. And now the hot thing in the last 2 or 3 months is you get weighted blankets for adults. I'm just wondering, is it a new thing for her, or has she been doing that for a while?
No, it's new. Yeah. Within
it's
the
new.
last
See, she's part of the
6
trend.
to 8
Your
months.
wife is trendy.
Yep.
Let her know she's trendy.
But she's short, so it could be a kid's size. I'm not sure.
It might be, yeah. That's great. Good. Well, another area to make sure we're all living better with is heart health. And this first one was odd. I hear this from the dentist a lot. Not that I need to work on it, but you just see the signs up there. Is brushing and flossing somehow helps your heart. I mean, that just, in a way, doesn't seem to make sense. But it's just amazing. The research over and over again. You take care of your teeth. Somehow it affects your heart. I mean, I guess they're kind of close to each other. I mean, that's maybe part of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if gum disease plays a part of it or something. I have no idea. That's interesting.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what I see the signs at the dentist all the time to do that. But then they're right on there saying brushing and flossing. And the stat they had is that people with gum disease have a 30% higher chance of having heart issues as well too.
Yeah.
So that's helpful. That could even be part of your sleep routine, right? Just make sure you do the brushing and flossing at night, and that just is conditioning your brain, saying, hey, it's time to relax, time to go down to sleep there.
Well, again, I've got a quick story on this. My wife hates flossing. I mean, she doesn't like doing anything with her teeth. I mean, she brushes her teeth all the time, but she hates going to the dentist. She hates, things in her mouth necessarily, when she's trying to do her nightly routine. And the dentist told her, look, get a water pick. And I remember when I was a kid, my parents had this machine, it was a water pick, and it had all these things and all that stuff. But they have these handheld rechargeable water picks, and she just got one 2 weeks ago. And literally last night she came and said, I have got to call the dentist, and the hygienist is the one that told her about it. I have to tell her thank you. I love that thing. I'm like,
yeah,
that's
great.
You're very passionate about a water pick, but good for you. Because she just hated flossing. Now this water pick does it for her, and she just, you fill it up with water. It's waterproof. She can take it in the shower and do it in her morning routine if she's in a hurry.
Whatever it takes.
Yep. That's awesome.
Yeah. All right. We'll have to make sure we're not getting in trouble here. But I think I was not intending at the beginning that we're talking about our spouses the entire time. But I think that's what's going to happen today. We're three steps into it. I think it's going to keep on going that way.
Sounds good.
We'll have to get them on and have them spill the beans about us.
Oh, Lord. I don't know if we can do that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the other parts of the heart health that are important that are a little bit more traditional, I'd say, that you've heard more often, is the resistance training, right? Lifting weights helps with your heart because it keeps your heart rate going even after you're done lifting the weights. Just having more muscle gets your heart healthier in the long run. And then other things too, like avocados and bananas. So I'm guessing here you put together a salad with berries, avocados, and bananas. I mean, you're hitting all kinds of areas to make your life better. That's a good thing.
And with mushy food like that, you barely need to floss.
Exactly. See, you're set. That's great. Well, a few other things to look through. A stress relief. You think that you hit retirement and all of a sudden your stress goes away. That's not necessarily the case. Sometimes the stress is there just because you don't have a daily routine from going to work. And what they suggested for a stress relief is just organize one thing. Organize a drawer. Organize out your day. It's kind of back to the make your bed book. Like if you win at one thing, you're going to feel better accomplished on it. Another suggestion they had is just have some sort of daily ritual, like your cup of tea or coffee every morning, or play the piano for 20 minutes, or you read a book, or you go for your walk. Having a daily ritual is going to give you something to look forward to, and it's maybe something that's going to be more relaxing and kind of take the stress levels down a notch. So some great advice. Advice there. Yep. Good. Well, we'll move on to the next step, which is improving your diet, which again, you don't have to be over 60 to improve your diet, just like you don't have to be over 60 to be part of the AARP. And some of the suggestions they had is do a fruit smoothie, right? Smoothies are fun. And if you do bananas, orange, and spinach, that's going to help with a lot of different areas, help out with some fiber, things like that. But then some other suggestions were eating nuts, including walnuts and almonds, right? These are just all things that are going to fill you up, help out overall versus, grabbing a bag of chips. That's a great idea they have there. And the one I've heard of for quite often, I do this all the time, is make sure you eat before you go to the grocery store. You go to the grocery store, empty stomach, you're bringing home, 3 gallons of ice cream. It's
exactly.
It's probably a good idea. Perhaps take a healthy snack before you go to the grocery store. That's their suggestion.
Yep. Okay. So this is tip number 5. And for all those clickbait aficionados, number 5 is going to blow your mind, because I'm about to add something to this that, Jeremy, I don't know if you've ever heard of, but I literally found out about this last week, and I ran to the kitchen to check how true this was. Okay.
Right.
You ready?
Yep.
Okay. So I learned this on TikTok. Don't judge me.
Okay.
But it's
all
true.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So have you ever heard, have you ever seen the magic bullet? Those little tiny blender things?
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
You're talking about fruit smoothies. Did you know that a regular blender, like the blender that we've all grown up with, the blade and the base fit on a smallmouth mason jar?
Perfectly. That's very interesting.
I'd never heard that before. I was like, there's no way. I would have heard about this years ago. I literally ran to the kitchen, got a smallmouth mason jar, put it on there. It works perfectly. You want a smoothie? You don't have to do it in a blender. You don't have to make a mess. You don't have to have that big, huge thing. Put everything in a jar, put the jar on the base of the blender, and blend it in the jar. And it's done.
That's
of course,
amazing.
I made a milkshake with it, but still, don't judge me.
Right.
It was
exactly
mind-blowing. I've never seen that before, and it works perfectly.
TikTok's good for something. Amazing.
That's right.
I like it.
Every once in a while.
Good. Yep. Well, the next tip is to get back in shape. Again, things we can all do as well. And one thing that they suggested is, hey, if you're retired, you don't have a commute anymore. You don't have anything to start your day anymore to go to work. Maybe you just start your own commute to say, before I go about my day, I'm just going to go out for a walk for 10 or 15 minutes. That's going to signal to your brain it's time to start your day. And the fact that you're walking is going to be a helpful thing. Or another tip they had is make it a habit whenever you're talking on the phone to either stand up or go for a walk. And that's just a way to make sure you're not, in the chair and you have the bad posture, but you're maybe burning a little bit more calories by standing up or going for the walk, especially. And they've got all the Bluetooth things that are out there. We've got a lady in our neighborhood. She does this all the time. You see her, you wave, and all of a sudden she's talking to you, but she's not talking to you. And so you think it's a little bit out of the ordinary. But you know what? It's great. Like, she's catching up with her friends, catching up with her family, and she's walking. I mean, she's got to walk about 2 miles every day. That's how long it is around her neighborhood. And she's going through the whole neighborhood on her phone. Like, what a much better way to go health-wise, and you're still keeping in touch with some people, which we'll talk about later. That's an important thing as well, too. But what a great suggestion to stay in shape is just make it a habit. If you're on the phone, go for a walk. You can do that now.
Yeah, it's we've got a couple in our neighborhood. They're probably in their mid-60s. They're the cutest thing ever. They walk together every day, and you'll see them come up. I live in a circle, and they do this on every circle. They'll walk together, and then when it comes to the circle part, one goes one way, one goes the other. So they meet at the tip of the circle. They high-five each other, walk past each other, and then join each other again to go back down the straight road. I think that's just awesome. Yeah,
that's great. Oh, that's fun. Well, speaking of phones from the prior one, is that one great idea is to try to kick out the tech a little bit from your life. And, we can debate how much you should have of technology or not, but just one that I love, turn off your phone notifications.
Agreed.
Like getting that beep because, the weather changed or there's something new on CNN, like just turn it off. You can check that later when you want to and batch it together and say, I'm going to look at these 5 things at once instead of just every 3 minutes you get some sort of notification. I'm like, turn it off. And some people say, well, what if someone's trying to get a hold of me? Well, for example, with my wife, I've got it set up. I don't get any phone notifications at all unless it's from my wife. So you can turn it on where you have like a special signal ringtone so that that'll push through the noise. It'll push through the silence button. But, if Wall Street Journal, which I love to get the headlines from, if they're pushing something through, I don't care. I can look at it later on.
Yep.
So turn off your phone notifications. Great advice there.
Yeah, and I can only speak from an Apple perspective. I've got an iPhone, but you can go in like you're saying. Each app has its own notification area, right? So you go into notifications, you find the apps, turn all your notifications off for just your apps, and you can leave on the ones from texts or your phone calls or whatever, the ones that would be important. But all the other things like certain apps I won't name, they try to send me notifications 2 or 3 times a day. I'm just like, you know what? Just stop. So yeah, no, I agree 100%.
Yeah, maybe leave on the notification from Fitbit that says it's time to go out for a walk, right?
Okay, maybe
leave that one on.
Yeah,
perfect. Well, a few more things here, and this is a good one. It says improve your relationships, and that's probably a great idea, especially if you're spending more time together. That's the big journey thing to talk about in the articles about retirement is gray divorce or silver divorce. You can pick your color, whichever one you like better there. Is that all of a sudden you've had this habit for 30 years, perhaps 35, 40 years even, of you go out your separate ways and then you come back together. It's kind of more fun. Hey, how was your day? What did you do? Well, then all of a sudden you see each other 24/7. Things could get a little different there. And so improving the relationship is a great idea. They gave a couple tips. One of them was just eat across from each other. And so you're kind of looking at each other, just eye contact's a smart thing. Their suggestion, we'll see how, maybe you got to start out small with this one. Their suggestion, 60 seconds, just stare at each other in each other's eyes. That was their suggestion. I got a feeling you might have to build up to that one.
Yeah.
But it's smart, right? What are the eyes are the window to the soul? So you can't get there unless you're actually looking at each other's eyes.
That's great.
Yeah. Another one was do a chore that the other person doesn't like, right? If your spouse hates to do whatever it is, go out and do that one. That's just a great signal that, hey, I'm trying to help you out by doing a chore that I know that you don't care for. My daughter the other day, she said, do you like doing the laundry? I said, why do you ask? She said, you're always doing the laundry. I said, well, I hate doing the laundry. I just like that it's done. And I like that it's one less thing that my wife has to do, right?
Yeah.
That's why I do the laundry. And I think that was a good lesson for all of us of, hey, going out and doing something I don't like to do because it's just one less thing for somebody else to do, especially if you're in that relationship with them.
Yep. So I've got a challenge to the audience for the eye contact thing, right? So you said 60 seconds is what they're suggesting. Try this, okay? And then what I want you to do is I want you to start a timer. So you guys look at each other for, into each other's eyes for 60 seconds, and then hit the lap button at the first time that your spouse makes a face at you. Trying to do that, okay? And then email Jeremy. So we want the times from that. So you start it off.
How long can you go?
11 seconds before they make a funny face at you. That you got to tell Jeremy that. We're just this is just an informal poll.
Why not? Yeah, let's do it. Well, here we go. The email is Jeremy, Jeremy, at KeilFP, KeilFP.com. So we'll see how many people complete the challenge. I'm going to
do this with my wife. I'll update you, Jeremy.
You'll be the first one in. You get this done before it even gets published.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Good. Well, another one's an important topic, and it's interesting. I was telling Eric before this show started, I was just listening to a talk from somebody who's a retirement expert. There's many retirement experts out there, but this one in particular, he was saying that a lot of people feel like maybe your money goes down in retirement so your happiness goes down in retirement. And he said both of those aren't necessarily true. A lot of people think your income goes down, so your taxes go down, and that's not necessarily true. A lot of people think maybe you're not as happy if you're not working or having your routines. And actually, on average, happiness goes up in retirement. People kind of like not working. That's what happens on average. But the issue then is that's on average. There's this big subset of all of a sudden people that maybe weren't quite as happy. They go the other way. They have a big descent into loneliness and depression. So even though on average people are happy in retirement, and that's a great thing, we should celebrate that, you got to be mindful. There's a big chunk of people that, and often it's caused by loneliness, just spiral down into a big, deep depression. So this is a big one. I'm glad that they put it into here with the AARP. And a few of their suggestions to conquer that, maybe you live alone. Well, make it a regular habit just to check in with your loved ones. There's got to be somebody that you're connected to. Just give them a 5-minute call, 10-minute call, a couple times a week. You don't have to do anything too big or earth-shattering. It's just checking in, and just having that constant connection is going to be a big help for you. Yeah. Their other suggestion was call one long-lost friend every week. Call your high school buddy from 40 years ago. Call the cousin that you haven't talked to in years. And that's just going to be an invigorating thing to catch up. I had this just happened to me recently. Somehow, fate, the cosmos, something happened where I just thought, I wonder how Bob's doing. My friend Bob, haven't talked to him for probably about 15 years. And then the next day, somebody was talking about podcasting and asking about different guests that could be on. I thought, you know what? My friend Bob, he would probably be great for that. And so to connect Bob to this person, I had to look him up. I thought, well, I haven't talked to Bob in 15 years. I'm just going to contact him. So he and I ended up talking for 30 minutes, and it was absolutely invigorating, right? Just catching up, like, how you been? What's going on? It was just invigorating. So their suggestion to do that once a week, that's a great idea. You got 50 long-lost friends. You just talk to them once a year. That's not going to be too bad of a way to go.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, good. Well, last two here. This will be an interesting one. Take care of your skin, right? That was one of the ones. You think, what does that have anything to do with living a longer or a better life? And we got two guys here talking, and typically two guys don't care too much about, face routines and skincare, things like that. I'm guessing. How do you feel about that, Eric? Is that pretty accurate?
It's pretty accurate. I'll take care of my face or wash my face before bed if I've been working, especially I'm doing some remodeling and I'm dirty. I shower, and that's about as much as my face gets. Yeah.
Well, there are two suggestions is to put on SPF 30 every day. Just as we get older, it's the combination of the many years of being out in the sun, breaks down your skin. And so it's just smart. There's people that get skin cancer all the time, and just putting SPF 30 on is just going to be smart to help you live longer. So great advice there. But they had, put on do a face routine with your skincare, and part of that actually might even help you with sleeping too, right? If you go through and just know, if your body knows, here's kind of the routine of I brush my teeth, I do the skincare routine, I'm just getting prepared for sleeping on that. My wife's gonna be happy because she just started working with a skincare company. And so all of a sudden I went from years of never caring, just like you mentioned, Eric. I've got all the skincare products I could ever need right now. Huh? And honestly, having the routine, it's just easier. If you know which way you're going to go, I just do these 3 things in a row. You don't have to even think about it. It's now become a habit, and it's kind of a kickstart to my day. It's a wind down tonight. It's a great thing.
Yeah. So let me ask you a clarifying question here. The SPF 30 thing, was that something, was just a specific type of lotion that you should put on every morning, even if you're not going to be going outside? Or are they talking about when you're going to be going outside?
Yeah, they said just do it every day because that's just part of your routine. And it's probably smart to go outside every day anyways, right?
But I should probably make that happen.
Yeah, it's probably a good habit. Sitting around in your basement working on podcast audio might not be the best way to go, right?
All right.
It makes would that make Eric a dull boy, right? Is that the Jack Nicholson thing?
Yeah, all basement and no outside makes Eric a dull boy. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Yep, you got it. So maybe that's
but
just
I'm
a
white.
kickstart.
I'm very white.
Yep, you're not getting the skin cancer.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a trade-off. Yeah. Good. Well, we'll end on the last one, and that's improve your environment. And let's not get necessarily into maybe some political, how do we improve the entire environment, and just improve your own environment. Bring plants into your house. There's all kinds of studies that show that the air quality of your house will be better. And here we are, hopefully, finishing up in a way the big crisis of COVID. We'll see how long and kind of just the, how it's sticking with us. But it doesn't hurt to improve the air quality of your house, of your office. And then people, it's an interesting study, people live longer when they have a purpose. And as small as you might think a plant is to your life, having the purpose of taking care of a plant, watching it grow, making sure, because it depends on you, right? It depends on you getting in the right sun and getting the right water to it. Having that purpose, it just helps out. It's just a great thing to have. And speaking of plants, they also suggested organic fruits and vegetables, where my wife's into this as well too. She figures, it's not too much different, right? It does cost more, but if you're going to pay $4 for strawberries, why not pay $6 for strawberries and just get the better stuff that's going into your body? And the studies show it's beyond just the chemicals or whatnot. It's actually healthier. Organic fruits and veggies are actually healthier than the non-organic. I mean, this is important stuff. We saw how berries help you with brain health, and it helps with a better diet. Why not just spend a little bit extra bucks if you got it, especially to go organic? That was their two suggestions to improve the environment that you're in, which is important.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are great ideas. All of these ideas. I mean, you brought up 11 different ones out of the 60, for crying out loud. I mean, so there's so much more to this. And I know that you're going to link the article in the show notes, or are you doing it in the show notes, or are you going to have a link on your website, or both?
We'll do both. Yeah, that'll be on there. It's interesting, in the news magazine, the AARP Bulletin, it was 60 ways to live longer, stronger, and better. The article that we're linking to is online, so that's how you link to things, is online, and it said 60 health habits to try now. So I love how they put that in there. They kind of changed the article name, same article, just changed the name for the internet, and that's great. Exactly what you said earlier at the beginning, Eric. You don't have to wait till you're 60. You don't have to wait till you're retired to try any of this stuff now. I'm hoping just the fact that I'm talking about it is going to encourage me to try a few more of these things. I'm kind of encouraged too that along the way in a lot of these areas, but just some good encouragement to keep up the habits and always striving to be better. Absolutely. Great stuff today, Jeremy. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of this. Yeah, it's been fun. Love the chats. We'll see how much trouble. I think we did okay. We didn't expose any secrets that I know of between our spouses there. Yep. Great. Awesome. Well, thanks, Eric, for participating. It's been fun to chat with you. Had you on the show a little bit more than normal, and that's so great. Yeah, it was fun. Thank you. Yeah. And thank you to our listeners for being a part of the Retirement Revealed podcast. We believe if you know more about your money, you will feel better about your money, and you will make better money decisions.
Thank you for listening to the Retirement Revealed podcast. Click on the subscribe button below to be notified when new episodes become available. Visit retirement-revealed.com to learn more. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of Keil Financial Partners. Keil Financial Partners does not provide legal, accounting, or tax advice. Consult your attorney or tax professional. Representatives have general knowledge of the Social Security tenets. For complete details on your situation, contact the Social Security Administration. Keil Financial Partners is a part of the Thrivent Advisor Network, a registered investment advisor. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investing advice. Always seek the advice of your financial advisor or other qualified financial service provider with any questions you may have regarding your investment planning.